Hello, everyone.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Happy second podcast of October. It
Crazy.
is October 9th, and we hope that you had a great weekend. And we thank you for joining us as soon as someone joins us. Right
Yes.
now, oh, there we go. We just popped up. There's a few people in the stream. All right. Well, while we are waiting for a few more folks to join us, let's check in with the folks who are already here, starting off in Derek's corner. Hello there. Michael Bingham,
Hey,
of course,
Michael.
in early. What's going on, Michael? Happy Thanksgiving. Shout out to everyone in Canada.
Yes.
I always forget that they have their weird early Thanksgiving. I mean, not weird. I'm sure our Thanksgiving is just as weird to them.
Oh,
But
ours is very weird.
happy Canadian Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Um, and oh, well, we've got a dozen or so people in the chat. Don't see, and we got all right. Gotta have let Brian Sager have the last word in pre-show here. He says he misses HHN already, but the overcrowding issue is becoming a problem lately.
It's been a problem. Yeah. It's a bummer.
Uh, and he's comparing it to Knott's Scary Farm. So I guess he's talking about HHN in Hollywood, which I'm gonna get to see firsthand next week.
Yay.
I didn't have too much trouble with the overcrowding at HHN at Universal this year, but then again, I went on an off-peak night early in the event. I would not be going on a peak night this week. Um,
Right. I
uh,
get my HH in Orlando in September and then I'm good.
yep, get it out of the way early, absolutely. And finally, hi, Ty Cobbs checking in from the Philippines.
Very
Hello
cool.
there. All right, well, we've got some folks here watching, so let us kick this recording off in three, two.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 212 of the Attractions Podcast, sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. I'm Seth.
And I'm Carly.
And we are here, as always, to talk about the latest and greatest in theme park news and more, as well as what is going on in our own lives. Carly, you have had a rare week at home, but what have you been up to?
Yes, I am on a little slight travel sabbatical until next week, but I'm going to be doing some fun things out in California. But I did go to the movies for the 30th anniversary showing of Hocus Pocus.
Oh, how was that?
It's fun to see it on the big screen. I mean, it's
Sure.
crazy, first off, that it came out 30 years ago.
I know. Tell me about it.
Insane. The movie still holds. It's my perfect 90-minute times. It's like it's what the peak of movies for me was back then, where I didn't have to sit for over 2 hours. Great to see it in the big screen. I've only seen it on the Disney Cruise Line and their movie theaters.
Yes,
so
yes.
It's just fun, something to do. Love the AMC pass.
It is amazing to me how over the last few years that has gone from a very obscure cult item to something that has really had a whole second life that I'm sure the people involved in it never thought it would 10 years ago.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, 50% of little kids during October are wearing a Hocus Pocus shirt.
Right.
Everywhere you go.
Right.
It's crazy. So I love that. I also went to Carowinds to check out some of their daytime Halloween offerings. They have a new parade that was really good. So highly recommend. And they have lots of, blood bags. You can get them during the day. Halloween snacks. They have the cotton candy leg, which we've talked about.
Daytime blood bag sounds like a recipe for a bad headache.
I do one blood bag a season. They're just like sugar bombs. I had mine a couple of weeks ago. I'm good. There were a lot of people drinking them. Power to them.
More power to them.
Yes.
I also had a trip to the movies this week. I got to attend Blumfest 2023 on behalf of Attractions Magazine. I got to cover it for, I would say Twitter, but now it's X. And also, if you hop on over to our YouTube channel, the highlight of the event for me was they had a Q&A
Yes.
with Mike Aiello and Laura Sauls and Charles Gray, three of the creatives behind Halloween Horror Nights. And they took audience questions about the event. Obviously, they are not allowed to reveal anything about future events, but they did have a very interesting question from an audience member where they confirmed that yes, Dr. Oddfellow is an icon. Yes, Boris Schuster is an icon. And I know it got some reaction on our socials when we posted that. So go ahead and watch the full video for the context. It was a great event. We also got to see the unrated version of Megan on the big
Ooh.
screen. And we got to see Exorcist Believer on its premiere day. So
Yes,
that
I
was
want to see that. What are your thoughts?
my thoughts was, first of all, they did do a good job in the house here, at least in Orlando, of capturing the sets, the visuals from the movie. I know they called it just a trailer, but honestly, the trailer kind of has all of the big scenes, all of the big moments in
Right.
more or less chronological order through the movie. So you definitely got it well covered if you liked the Horror Nights house. As someone who has seen the original many times, seen the original in a packed movie theater and seen what it could do to people, I would say try to see the original again. And maybe wait for this one to be available on Peacock.
Cool. So I am very hyped for Five Nights at Freddy's. Did they show you?
Yes,
anything?
we
Okay.
did get to see an extended trailer of Five Nights at Freddy's with some behind the scenes footage. We also got a video introduction to the whole event by Jason Blum. We got some swag. We got Freddy Fazbear t-shirts as we
yes.
exited. So I am hyped for Five Nights at Freddy's. I have not played the games, but I've actually watched videos of people playing the games,
Yes.
which I know is so Gen Z of me. But
Very. So why are they waiting so long to put it out? That's why I'm so mad about it. I want to see it now, not
Yeah.
October 27th.
Yeah, they're really pushing it. We did get, though, a little tease in that they have in City Walk through the end of Halloween Horror Nights. They've got a photo op.
Yes.
It's a Blumhouse immersive photo ops. And the coolest thing about these, they are hidden in this space that is basically a storage space inside the structure of City Walk
Yeah.
between Pat O'Brien's and Fat Tuesdays, and I swear I have not been in that space since it was under construction back in like 1998.
It's what they call like the promenade or something.
Yeah, but it's like raw, like you can see the insulation foam sprayed on the inside of the ceiling. Like no one was meant to be in there, and I can't believe that they're actually using that as a guest facing location.
No, but
so it's worth going and checking it out. It's free to do.
Yeah.
It's open. I think opens around 4 o'clock in the afternoons and should be open pretty much. I think there's one day like the 26th where it's not going to be open, but otherwise it should be open more or less every night. And check it out just to get to see the inside of City Walk.
Yeah, the black phone one, because they also have those at HHN Hollywood.
Yes.
The black phone photo op is my favorite, so it's definitely worth a visit.
Yes, unless you are sensitive to flashing black light.
Yes.
Yes. If that freaks you out, stay away. I kind of like the Exorcist photo op that's tilted on its side, so you stand and it makes it look like you're floating up out of the
Your
bed.
picture came out so good.
Thank you.
It's always hard to pose in those like that.
It's very
One,
difficult.
I feel so awkward. I want
Super
to
awkward.
it, but yeah.
Anyway, without any further ado, before we just go on talking about our weeks, let us jump right into the news in the queue. All right, we're we're going to start off at the Disney parks. If you are a parent and you are thinking of taking your kids to Walt Disney World or Disneyland Resort, sometime in late 2023 or early 2024, you're going to want to know about these discount ticket offers. It's been a long time since we've seen kids ticket pricing at the Disney parks that was this good. This is
Yeah, I was surprised. There was a lot all at once.
yeah, this is basically almost half off tickets for kids starting October 24th. For Disneyland, you can get a ticket for kids ages 3 to 9 for as low as $50 a day. And you can upgrade these to Park Hoppers or Genie Plus. These are good between January 8th and March 10th of 2024. They've also at Disneyland extended the window at which you can book park reservations and annual pass reservations out to 180 days in advance. Before it was like 3 months.
Yeah.
So this is if you want to plan a trip for the spring of 2024 and you've got kids, this is the time to plan a Disneyland trip for sure.
Absolutely. This next one made me a little sad. They are adding some attractions to Genie Plus at Disneyland, and right now, Little Mermaid is one of my favorites. Not only is it a people feeder attraction, but I just think it's a really good dark ride. And for the most part, most of the time, I could walk on it.
Yeah.
Usually. Sometimes rare, it gets that 20, 30-minute wait, but it is just a great way to just like sit down. That's my air conditioning break. And it is a good ride. You know, it's not just a means to waste time or whatnot, but that is going to be added to Genie Plus, and I am upset.
This is a good news, bad news situation. On the one hand, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which was an upcharge individual lightning lane, and it was at one time a virtual line, but that went away real quick. Now is going to be part of Genie Plus. So that might be good if you're the kind of person who's going to buy Genie Plus anyway. But I really don't think anyone needs Genie Plus on Little Mermaid. That was, we can see head to head what standby wait times are like at the Walt Disney World version of this ride versus the Disneyland version of the ride. Both have same capacity, but you see much, much longer standby waits at the Disney World version because it has Genie Plus. And this was always a reliable one that, if you wanted to get out of the heat, if you didn't want to wait in line for a long time, you could most of the time walk on at most 15 minutes.
Right.
And that's probably going to change. The only thing I can hope is that most people are smart enough not to use their Genie Plus on that attraction so that it doesn't greatly inflate the standby waits.
Absolutely. I fear, though, it's going to be sort of like Monsters, Inc. Once Monsters, Inc. was added to Genie Plus, I haven't gone on it in so long because it used to be, I love that ride, Superstar Limo, all that. But it's really hard to get on because the standby is long and that queue is like in the blazing sun. So
yeah. Pro tip for Monsters Inc. That yes, Genie Plus ruined that standby queue. So ask if they are giving out buddy passes. They don't have a sign for a single rider line like they do at other rides, but if you ask for a buddy pass, if you're like a couple or even like two people with a little kid, they'll let you cut to the back and stick you in the back row of a taxi. So that's pretty much the only way I do that anymore.
Right.
If you are an annual pass holder at Disneyland, check out Disneyland.com or the Disneyland app for the Magic Keys Extras Unlocked portal. That was a big mouthful.
I'm a little confused by this because they've already had the Magic Key portal, so now this is new. I will say they already do a good job at letting us know about all the freebies if you just follow them on Instagram. They gave out the Magic Band Plus. They did those Haunted Mansion trading cards. So I'm not exactly sure how this will streamline it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is basically just sort of a new way to hype some of the little bonuses and extras that
Mhm.
you might not be aware of, such as there's going to be a holiday magic shot and a complimentary tote bag in November. And they are also doing a popcorn bucket that you can get $1.75 refills for a limited time. I always like how Universal, once you buy a popcorn bucket, you can refill that for pretty much eternity.
Right.
But Disney, it's for a limited time.
Yeah.
But those are coming out while supplies last in January.
Oh
So
yeah. And
keep.
if you want to get the tote bag, those lines are usually insane. I say I'm gonna go try to do it, and then usually they have the silly symphonies where the redemption is. That line goes so long. People love their free stuff. But I
Yep.
got a Magic Band Plus, which is they're selling for like $65
Yeah.
just for walking in a store. So
Yeah, that was definitely worthwhile if you got
mhm.
in on that deal. Hopping over to the East Coast at Walt Disney World, they have some different discounts for kids. What they are doing starting November 14th is a new family vacation package where you get 50% off the regular price for theme park tickets and dining plans for kids ages 3 to 9. If you buy a full-priced 4-night, 4-day travel package with select room at a select Disney resort, tickets, and a dining plan. You have to do the math real carefully on
Mhm.
these. Anytime that they are throwing in 50% off or a free dining, um, that is without being able to get any of the other discounts. And depending on who you are, what kind of discounts you're eligible for, you might be better off with another discount. Great reason to work with a travel agent like MEI or MouseFan who can help you
Absolutely.
walk through those options. But if you aren't eligible for another discount, this could be a really valuable one.
Absolutely. 24 is going to be a time of big changes, which I feel like makes it even more valuable to use a travel agent. We have the dining plan returning. They're also running that $1,000 Disney dining promo card offer with
Hmm.
non-discounted packages. There's kind of a lot to decipher, which you're right. You have
Yeah.
to really go over the math to see what makes sense for you and if you're actually going to save money.
And this package is valid for most nights March 3rd through June 30th. So I think the interesting thing is that we are seeing discounting earlier and deeper than we had seen for a while, even pre-pandemic. We saw the results of a very soft travel season this summer across all the Disney parks. We have noticed some uptick in this last month. Obviously, the Halloween season has brought people out of the woodwork, and wait times, like I saw Disneyland, were like way above expectations this
I will
weekend.
say I was at Disneyland, I guess, last week for the Villa
Hmm.
opening. I have never in my life,
Hmm.
as a regular visitor, seen it so busy. I lasted maybe a half hour in the park. And then I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna just hang out at the Disneyland Hotel." It was the busiest I have seen it. And I've
Yeah.
heard I usually stick to weekday visits. I have friends that went over the weekend and they were like, "Oh my God, this is insane." So I was
Yeah.
definitely kind of surprised to see all the offers for Disneyland with how busy and park reservations have been fully
I
booked. So
I I feel like Disney, especially in Disneyland, overcorrected. They gave very deep discount for
mhm,
Southern California locals to buy tickets in the fall. I think they were really spooked by how quiet the summer
right.
was. And as soon as you had the combination of the Southern California discount tickets, the opening of the blockouts for local pass holders, and plus all the Halloween stuff coming in. I think that they're just like, yeah, they might have overcorrected a little, and
Yeah.
now they've got too many people. But these offers, like I said, are good through the spring, even into June. So I think they are looking maybe at next spring and early summer. Also, maybe they think that's going to be soft too. So take advantage of these deals
Yep.
if you can. Um, Also in Disney news, speaking of Halloween, if you are still in the mood to celebrate Halloween, you haven't been Halloweened out yet, head on over to Disney Springs, where Freeform, Hulu, and Disney Plus are teaming up for some family-friendly entertainment every weekend through the end of this month.
It's funny you say that. Today I woke up and I was like, God, we've been celebrating Halloween since August. I put on a holiday album, the Instant Christmas album.
Yes.
And I was like, I just need a little change of scenery.
And you're going to be sick of Christmas before Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
So if you happen to see a jack-o'-lantern with a DJ in it,
Very cool.
rolling through, you have not gotten a hold of some bad Halloween candy. That really is happening. Yes, a giant pumpkin DJ heading through the Disney marketplace over at Disney Springs. There's also a backdrop celebrating Goosebumps that you can take pictures in front of.
Coming out Friday, and I'm so pumped.
October 13th, perfect day. You're gonna have zombies roaming around, the Zombie Drummers, and they are gonna be performing in Town Center on the weekends, starting around 6 p.m. There's also stilt walkers, a cappella singers, all sorts of stuff happening all over Disney Springs, celebrating the 31 nights of Halloween.
Yes, lots of good holiday treats there too. So you can do a little dining and rolling around. Yep. I love when they have the strolling entertainment, like the pianist, like this DJ. So cool.
Yep. If you are looking for a family-friendly Halloween experience and you cannot get tickets to Mickey's Not So Scary, you want something that is 100% free, even the parking, this is something affordable that you can do.
Absolutely.
Next up, in more Disney news, they have announced the 2024 through 2025 Global Disney Ambassadors. They have selected, we previously did an article about the Walt Disney World Ambassadors, but now they have selected and announced the 2 Goodwill emissaries representing each resort, who are going to be heading around the world to share Disney magic with guests and inspiring hope in local communities.
Yes, this is such a fun gig. I love following them on social media just to see what they get up to. They get to travel a bunch, and they're just such, if you ever met them, they're just like joyful and passionate people about whatever their home resort is, whether it's Alani or Disneyland Paris.
Absolutely. Dream job for any cast member,
right.
And these folks come from everywhere from Disneyland and Walt Disney World, Tokyo, Paris, Alani, everything in between. Their jobs don't officially start until the 1st of January, but they are going to be training with the 2022-23 ambassadors to hand the torch until the end of the year. There are a lot of interesting people with interesting backstories and interesting names that I will completely mangle if I try pronouncing all of them. So what I'm going to
though, because I loved reading each of their bios because their journeys and what they do, some are in entertainment, ride ups, and just to kind of see what their Disney story is, I thought was really fascinating.
Yeah. Head to Attractions Magazine. We've got all of their pictures and their biographies there. And the interesting thing is how they came from such a diverse variety of backgrounds, not just, geographical or cultural or ethnic backgrounds, but also like career paths. So it's, just like anyone can cook, anyone can be an ambassador,
Linguini.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, head on over to our attractionsmagazine.com or on our YouTube page. We've got a video of the ceremony introducing the Walt Disney World ambassadors at Epcot. It's kind of moving, so check it out. And next up, we are heading away from the Disney parks to Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay. And the Busch parks have been on a roll with roller coasters recently, and they are adding another one to their collection. Um, Phoenix Rising is going to soar above the Serengeti Plain starting in spring of 2024 with a rather unique, family-friendly, swinging inverted roller coaster coming
Yeah.
to the Pantopia section of the park.
This is really cool. I love that it's family friendly. It's
Mhm.
if you've ever been on the Dragon Flyer, the Vekoma at Dollywood, it's the same kind of idea. It's the suspended coaster that swings. The minimum height requirement is pretty good, so a lot of the family can go on it.
Yes, here are the stats. This is a B&M, maximum speed of 44 miles per hour, track length of 1,831 feet, and like you said, minimum height requirement only 42 inches.
Pretty good.
So this is a great one for, maybe not toddlers, but grade school kids and tweens, perfect for them. This is the replacement for the Sand Serpent coaster, which is a aging. It is. I believe, if I have my park history right, this is an old Wild Mouse roller coaster that was permanently retired. We've got a video of from closing on our YouTube. But I think that originally this was called the Wild Izzy, and it was installed at Busch Gardens Williamsburg to celebrate the 1996 Olympics in
Oh, wow.
Atlanta. I'm fact check me with RCDB, but that I'm sticking to that story. Anyway, it was definitely long past its prime, and I gotta say, the idea of a family-friendly inverted roller coaster that swings freely from side to side reminds me of my other favorite all-time Busch Gardens roller coaster from Williamsburg, the Big Bad Wolf.
Yes,
So
I was thinking that too.
if this is gonna feel a little like the Big Bad Wolf, except with your feet dangling, I am all for it.
Yes, this is exciting. We've seen them adding some super thrilling rides, so this is like very tame compared to what else has been going on there.
Yeah. And even though that this is relatively less intense than some of their other coasters, it is going to have a Busch Gardens first. It will be the park's first coaster with onboard audio. So we'll have a custom soundtrack to enhance the experience. If you are as excited about this as we are, you want to know that pass holders are going to have the first chance to get early ride access when this opens up in spring of 2024. All right, so check out buschgardens.com/Tampa for more information about this upcoming attraction. And speaking of upcoming Busch Gardens attractions, in my original the first park I ever worked at, Busch Gardens Williamsburg, is getting a new coaster in 2024 that is the rebirth of an old coaster. Loch Ness Monster is going underwater real soon, as of October 31st. But it will reemerge in 2024 as Loch Ness Monster: The Legend Lives On. And I'm so happy that they are restoring this classic instead of letting her just die.
I know, and I love if you're looking at the article, I love the artwork for it. It got me hyped.
Yes. So in case you do not know, this is a classic Arrow double looper. I believe it was the first attraction with an interlocking double loop where the one upside down section goes through the middle of the other. Makes for amazing photos, especially on the rare occasions where they time the trains so that they can interlock. It has been around since 1978,
Wow.
so good chance that it is older than most of the people listening to this podcast. I think it might have been the first upside down roller coaster I ever went on as a
I
little
love
kid.
that. Memories.
And I used to, when I worked at the park, it was one, between that and Big Bad Wolf, I would go back and forth having to ride every single time. Would not ride Drachenfire every single
No.
time. for sure. But this one, it is, it's an old arrow looper. It's aged, so that it will shut down on October 31st. But the reimagined Loch Ness promises to have a lot in common with the original. Smoother, safer, more modern, but it is still going to take riders through the same area, along the same signature path, but it's going to have 900 feet of all new track added to it to enhance the experience. My favorite part is that they are adding glimpses of the Loch Ness Monster
Yes.
herself to the ride. We've
Oh, I
never
love
gotten this. Loch Ness, she's always been implied in the attraction, but now we're going to get a glimpse of something monstrous lurking beneath the water as you go down the first drop. And then when you go into the spiral tunnel, into the helix, we're now going to come face to face with the monster inside her lair. So I'm
Immersive. Yes.
very, very excited to experience this. And I'm also really excited that since I'm going to be there this weekend, I'm going to be doing Busch all day and all night on Saturday, and I will
So
definitely
excited.
be getting in some daytime and nighttime last rides on the original Nessie.
So fun.
Yeah, I'm very excited. They are doing this in preparation, getting ready for 2025, which is going to be the park's 50th anniversary.
Wow.
Really exciting. Of course, like we mentioned with the other Busch Park, getting an annual pass will get you first in line to ride the new Loch Ness Monster and all their other new attractions. So buschgardens.com/Williamsburg is the link to check out. All right, moving a little further up the Atlantic coast, our good friend Ricky Briganti was out at Hershey Park and sent us a really wonderful detailed review of Dark Nights. Is back for its second Halloween at Hershey Park. I know you got to check this out last year, right?
Yes, I did, and I loved it for a first year. I was super impressed. Still trying to get there for this year, but I'm not sure. But
Mhm.
my sister got to go and check out the
Okay.
buffet, all the houses, and her thoughts were exactly in line with Ricky's review on attractions. The
Excellent.
new house is excellent. That's
Yes.
one of the unanimous voices I have heard. Is it so good?
Yes. So Ricky was kind enough to film this new house called Ante-Mortem's Abattoir, which is themed after a pig farm, which turns into a human farm, and you get to play the little piggy.
Yes, I
So
love anything that's like a butcher shop or a slaughterhouse as the theme
Right.
of a house. It's just so much detail that they can do with it, and this looks fabulous.
yeah, shout out to Meets
Yeah.
Vintage Halloween Horror Nights. So yeah, this really looks like a house on the quality that you would see at a Universal or a Knott's Berry Farm. And like I said, we've got a great POV walkthrough. Really aggressive performers who are very interactive. They're not just stuck in a boo hole hitting a button.
Right.
They've also brought back the houses that debuted last year with a few tweaks. And Ricky mentions that they originally had to have these actor-driven prologues, these little pre-shows that they have gotten rid of. I assume you got to see it with these pre-shows last year. So how do you feel about that?
I liked the pre-show because it was a good way to pace
Mhm.
people. And I just thought it was fun. I loved the coal mine was one of my favorite ones last year, and I heard it's even better this year. So I think they had to do it because now admission has changed this year. Dark Nights last year was a separately ticketed event. This
Mhm.
year, it's included with all passes, day
Yeah.
passes, nighttime passes. I will say the one thing my sister did note was because of its inclusion, she noticed a lot of parents like forcing their young kids into
Uh,
houses because they were like, we bought I'm sure their ration is, she didn't ask them, we bought the day ticket and this includes it, so we have to do
have
it.
to do it. Yeah, we got to get our
So
money's worth by
she said
scarring
that
our
was
kid
like
for life.
really startling because it happened like a lot. But
Yeah,
she said it was also enjoyable because kids are screaming their head off, but I'm not sure about that.
well, am I right that last time there were portions of it that were accessible with a regular ticket, but if you wanted to do the houses themselves, those were all
Correct.
an
Yep.
upcharge. And I think
Yeah.
gating them that way is maybe a good idea. Like, you don't see generally when you see a park that has a daytime and then a scary nighttime, they usually clear the park or at least make some
Mhm.
clear separation between those two. Your SeaWorlds and your Universals, and having them blend and blur together, maybe, maybe gets more people through the houses, but probably also leads to some complaints at guest services and some
Yeah.
kids going to therapy afterwards.
I think it's interesting there,
Uh,
especially Hershey Park. It's such a weekend family park. Families go every single weekend as annual pass holders. So
mhm.
I think that's what the problem was. Also, I noticed last year Friday nights were dead. Saturday nights were
Mm,
really busy. So I think there had to be some sort of solution to get people to come, maybe spread out their attendance. I'm
true.
interested to see how it goes. Don't force your kids in a haunted house
Please don't. Please, yeah.
unless they want to go. If they want to try, I'm
And
all for
yes, but honestly, like, yeah, there's like, and just because your kid really liked it last year or the year before, it's okay for them to not like it this year.
it. Yeah.
Listen to your children.
Yes.
Um,
as
says
as parenting experts.
says the man who is, just has nieces and nephews. Um, well, okay, let us forget about the haunted houses. Who goes to Hershey Park for haunted houses? We go to Hershey Park for food.
Yes.
And Ricky had a great report on the buffet. A lot of the time, these upcharge buffets that they have at a special event, you're paying for presentation, you're paying for atmosphere, you're not necessarily paying for food quality, but it sounds like the food quality was there along with the entertainment value.
Absolutely. The scare actor interaction was overwhelmingly, I heard, was really
Hmm.
great. Good way to get some photo ops in. And also, sometimes the lines at all these haunt events for snacks, foods in the night get so large. So I'm kind of a big fan of, I'd rather eat before. Same with HHN, same with Knott's. Go to like a pregame spot and eat a meal and then just enjoy yourself doing the activities.
Yeah.
I mean, I love trying seasonal food, but sometimes it's not realistic. And then you get that like hangry, your blood sugar drops, and it's like an hour to get a hot dog. So
Yeah,
I
amen.
love
Oh,
this.
as someone who has stood in line for over 20 minutes to get a tin can full of ravioli,
Yeah.
I can say that like taking your food needs care of early on. It's kind of like a marathon,
Mhm.
these nights at a Halloween event. You've got to kind of carbo load early on to have some calories to make it to the end of the night.
Absolutely. I
Otherwise,
mean, just plan that you're not going to eat. Like
yeah.
that's the realistic thing.
But you can drink, and they of course have
Yes.
a full selection of upcharge alcoholic beverages too. Great photos from Ricky, and I've got a soft spot for any food that is shaped like an eyeball.
Yes,
I
I
love when they
saw
do
it. You
that.
had great photos.
They do have a tasting pass if you want to sample the specialty items that are around. And if you are local, you're planning on coming back more than once, you can use that tasting pass, spread it out over multiple nights. Believe it or not, apparently this toxic pizza, even though it looks kind of nasty, apparently it tastes pretty good.
Hey, and that's a nice little solid one and done. You'll be full from that. It's
Yep.
great.
Yeah, that'll sit with you. Um, and if you are doing the park and you've got a little extra cash, the hotel is not cheap, but the Hershey Hotel is a great place to stay. And you get a free Hershey bar when
Oh
you
yeah,
check in. There you go.
my favorite.
If I got a chance to visit this year, I think I would be all over this dark. It's like a black ice cream cone.
Hmm.
It's like black cone with blood red dripping down it, and then black ice cream. I don't know if that's charcoal ice cream or what, but
Yeah, if you go to Hershey Park, the best place to pregame is Chocolate Town, USA. You have Milton's,
Oh yes, yes.
Chocolate Tier. They do really, really cool, inventive
And you don't even
Halloween
need
stuff.
a park ticket to go
Nope.
in there. It's right outside the
So good.
entrance. Yep. All right. Well, for more information, head on over to attractionsmagazine.com and read Ricky's really, really detailed review. Thank you so much for that, Ricky. And in other theme park Halloween news, if you are out in SeaWorld San Antonio, you can join their inaugural Howl O Scream Zombie Walk on Friday the 13th. Show up in costume, and you can join the creature crawl from the Nautilus Theater through the Howl O Scream territories, or what they call their scare zones. And if you make it all the way to the end, you'll be rewarded with a Zombie Walk medal.
I want to do this so bad. Have you ever heard of this before? Because I haven't, I don't think.
I actually, yes. We used to do, this is going back 15, almost 20 years. We used to do annual zombie walks, zombie crawls first around Winter Park, and then we started doing when Spooky Empire first started doing their conventions down here on I Drive. We did zombie walks up I Drive to the convention, going back a long, long time. Yeah, there's nothing like seeing 100 people all dressed in, rotting clothes with their flesh dripping off and blood, just staggering along the sidewalk with tourists driving along I Drive, just trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Yeah,
well,
it's always a good time.
This is positioned almost like an in-park 5K, like Dollywood does an in-park 5K, where like there's a map of the route, you get a medal. Like this is so cool. I wish some other places would do this, and this is free. I would pay to do this. So cool.
Now I assume that these are supposed to be Romero walking zombies, slow zombies. These are not fast zombies, like 28 Days Later. So I don't think there's a prize for finishing first, but there are going to be prizes for the best and most creative costumes and makeup. So if you are interested in participating in this, it takes place Friday, October 13th, of course. Starts at 6:45 p.m. You have to pre-register in advance, and the spots are limited. If you do get chosen for the registration, you will get not only that commemorative medal, but also free admission to Howl O Scream that night. But you must participate. You can't just show up and watch. You have to arrive at their ports of call gate at the scheduled time, ready to go. And here's the key thing: no masks and no props and no bags. So wear a costume, do makeup, but you can't bring any severed limbs, and you can't have a rubber mask on. It has to be makeup. So if you are interested in this, we have the link on our website, Attractions Magazine. It's a very, very long link, but you can head on over to SeaWorldParks.com. Look up SeaWorld San Antonio for more information about their Howl O Scream event.
Fun.
Yeah, you got to participate one of these someday.
Oh,
it's a lot of fun. Yes. And we've got some sad news coming in from Legoland, California. One of that park's original attractions, the Fairy Tale Brook boat ride, is going to be saying goodbye at the end of October.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to go on this yet, but I have definitely looked through pictures and videos, and the ride vehicle boat is so cute, and I love all the different iconic scenes from, favorite cherished fairy tales. Mm-hmm. But I'm excited to see what they do next. We saw what they did in Legoland, Florida, so.
Yeah, this is the Legoland in Carlsbad, which is it's not exactly close to Disneyland, but it's in the Southern California area. And this was the first Legoland in the United States. It opened up back on March 20th, 1999, and this was one of those opening day attractions. And they're kind of cheeky to recreate scenes from Snow White, along with some other non-Disney fairy tales like Hansel and Gretel and Jack and the Beanstalk, Three Little Pigs, Little Red Riding Hood, in these kind of miniature scenes. Reminds me a bit of the Storybook Land canals, except
Yes.
on a somewhat larger scale. Also reminds me a lot of some of the walkthroughs that they have in European parks like Efteling. Not
Very
no
whimsical, yeah.
yes, no big special effects. I think the ride it probably closest to is Disneyland Paris's version of the Storybook Land canal boats. But it's one of those, kind of charming, slow, all ages rides that you can take an infant on. And it is being removed in favor of future awesomeness.
Ooh.
So no hints exactly on what that awesomeness might entail. But if you want to relive this attraction, we have a link to a 360-degree video from Legoland, California on attractionsmagazine.com. And you can find out more about visiting Legoland at legoland.com/California. I have only made one trip to Legoland, California, and I only had like half a day, so this was not on my agenda. I was more about riding the Dragon
Yes.
roller coaster, and
course.
back then they had the Knights Challenge, which was the first Kuka Robo Arm ride. It was just a Kuka Robo Arm that stood still and flipped you around like crazy. So that was the reason I went out there. All right, for our final bit of news in the queue, the Brightline train has begun service between Orlando and South Florida. I was one of its opening weekend passengers, and I have written a guide you can find at attractionsmagazine.com that will help you break down whether it is a good idea, if you're going from Orlando down to Miami or West Palm Beach, to take Brightline as opposed to either driving or flying.
Yes, I loved reading through. I know we discussed your experience a little bit last week, but after seeing the pictures, it definitely just reminds me of European train travel. Looks like nice, sleek vehicles. But yeah, this is great. And it's definitely something to consider. And everyone has different needs when they're traveling around. I hate to drive personally. So when I go between like my family in Fort Lauderdale or Orlando, sometimes I'll take that like cheap Spirit flight. So I definitely would like to try this out because, it might work.
Yeah, I think you might be the ideal target audience for this because if you are someone who loves to drive, you like the privacy, the flexibility of your car, and you need to have a car at your destination, then I don't think Brightline is going to change your mind, especially if you have a passenger in that car with you and you have parking paid for wherever you are in Miami or Fort Lauderdale, then economically speaking, Brightline probably doesn't make sense. But for someone like you, who is, if you're given a choice between spending 4 hours white knuckling it on the turnpike, or having to go through the hassle of an airport and checking in and going through security and probably the flight's going to be delayed, versus just hopping on a train and just getting to go where you want to go and getting off and getting on with your day, and being able to get some work done while you're on the train. If those things are important to you, then it's really a no-brainer. It's funny how on my Facebook feed, arguments over whether this is good or bad have like blown up, and you can see a very clear divide between the people it's meant for and the people it's not meant for.
Right, but you have to remove yourself from the situation and look at it for what it is. I also think of international travelers. Me personally, I hate driving. I also won't drive in an international country, especially if I'm going to one where they drive on the other side of the road. And we know a lot of international people, especially Europeans, come to Central Florida, and maybe they want to go down to South Florida, do some days at the beach in Fort Lauderdale. So another great clientele.
Yes, I kind of walk you through the whole experience. We've got video and everything from the station to the onboard experience, and then the end of this article, I kind of break down, who is this for? What are the use cases? And I mentioned that one of the best cases for this is if you are European, you're one of these Brits who comes for 14 or 21 days to Florida on vacation. Take a few of those days and take this train to see South Florida, see the beaches, see historical sites, see the art and the culture in South Florida. This is, because if you're from Britain or Europe, you're probably very used to taking trains, and you know that they're safe and reliable, and but definitely just a much better mental health experience than trying to drive a rental car there or dealing with the airport to get there. It's not the cheapest. It's never going to be the cheapest way to go. I wish it was a $20 fare or a $50 fare. It's not.
But when we take the Eurostar to go from London to Paris, that's like 300 round trip sometimes.
Yeah.
It fluctuates just like air travel. But I'm curious to see what kind of like marketing they're doing to the UK. I know that Orlando Tourism and Disney, they have their own, arm in the UK because of how many people come over. So I'm curious how they're approaching that, because I'm sure it must be a target audience.
There are two things that are kind of missing from the Brightline right now. One is a good way from people to get to the Orlando station, which is at the airport, to the attractions. It is in the future plans to extend the line all the way to Tampa. And, Disney and Universal were going back for years over where the stop in Orlando would be. For a while, it was supposed to be down at Disney Springs. Now it looks like it's going to be basically right next to the Epic Universe campus, which would be a big win for Universal. And then eventually going all the way to Tampa. And then on the other end, if you're taking a cruise, you can get to West Palm, you can get to Miami, and it's a very short Uber ride from those stations to the cruise ports. Where you can't get to, unfortunately, is Port Canaveral. It literally comes right out to Cocoa, right within, right across the causeway from Port Canaveral Cruise Port, and then makes a hard right without ever stopping. So I know that there is discussion over the cities right there, arguing over exactly where they should put a station. I hope they finally decide and make it, because for me, a great use case would be to take a train to a cruise, especially for me personally, but also if you're coming down, you want to do a theme park vacation and a cruise vacation out of Port Canaveral without having to spend the exorbitant charge they charge for parking at Port Canaveral. That could be fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I mean, especially if you're going to be not having a rental car and like lifting or Ubering to your Disney resort, then coming back to the airport, you'd be going back there anyway to take the bus. Might as well take a train. It's easier.
Yep. And even if on the individual basis it is more expensive, it's not going to be cheaper than some of these alternatives. You also have to think about what it's costing you in terms of carbon footprint. It's way more ecologically sound to be taking a train versus a personal car. And just peace of mind and ease of you, like taking the Brightline. They announced the train was there, the doors open, we walked on the train, the doors closed, we started moving. It wasn't like 20 minutes of we've got to do safety announcements and prep and we've got a security check, and that you get on and you go, and then you get off and get on with your day. and it's just it's worth paying a little extra just for the lack of hassle. At least for me, it is.
Absolutely. And I think also, for international guests, I personally feel very comfortable taking the train, not from a safety standpoint. I do that too, but how easy it is to use. And I feel like this is also that too.
Yep. So if you want to know more about Brightline and how it might fit into your vacation plans in Orlando, please read this article because I spent a lot of hours on it.
Yes. I love it. I read it already. So everyone.
All right. Thank you. Now everyone else has to. All right. Well, that about wraps up the news in the queue. Before we get to this week's main attraction, it is time for us to hear a word from our sponsor.
The Attractions Podcast is brought to you by MEI and Mousefan Travel. Whether your next vacation is a magical trip to the theme parks, an exciting adventure to the pyramids of Egypt, or just a relaxing cruise on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, MEI Travel provides premium service and expert advice to help you get the most of your vacation. They are always free of any hidden fees or costs to you. Visit them at mei-travel.com.
It's time for the main attraction!
And for this week's main attraction, I'm going to let Carly take it away because she wrote this article. She got to attend the Villas at Disneyland Hotel grand opening. I am super jelly, so I am going to let you tell us all about your overnight stay in the first new hotel tower to open at Disneyland Resort in 14 years.
Yes.
Wow.
A long time. Yeah. So this is the Discovery Tower. I know we talked a little bit about it last week, but I wrote a first person point of view review for attractions. I stayed in, so there's several different levels. The Duo is the smallest one. It has just a Murphy bed, which is really cool to see how it's a little over 200 square feet. But it felt kind of spacious just because you have that tucked away bed. It is more compact than the studios like that at Riviera. So it is much smaller. I stayed in the next level up, which is called the Deluxe Studio. So this is, just picture kind of like a traditional hotel room. You have your queen bed, but extended. So it felt very comfortable. We have I did a bunch of pictures.
I was going to say this is a tremendous amount of room for an Anaheim area hotel. We've talked before about how the classic Disneyland hotel is very much of its time in terms of the footprint of the rooms, the layout. They've been redecorated over the years, but it's still an old, mid-century in terms of square footage, and this is much more generous in terms of just elbow room.
Absolutely. And so this one sleeps up to 4. I stayed there with a friend and it is plenty. There was so much room, like counter space. Obviously there's a Murphy bed. So you have those 2 queen beds. There was a kitchenette that had all utensils and stuff. And Disneyland Hotel does room service. So this is good if you want to do that. There's no room to really cook, but there's definitely enough room if you want to eat takeout or you do Uber Eats and whatnot. Some points I was in the Sleeping Beauty. The decor is integrated throughout the whole room, but it doesn't feel in your face. It's kind of that perfect meshing of it's bold with their choices, but it's also subtle. Love the mirror. If you see the pictures of it, the little light up mirror, the wooden etching around the television. There's just so many details, even the rug underneath the main bed has Once Upon a Dream on it, but it's very subtle.
I think my favorite little touch is these carved Mary Blair style symbols on the wall.
Yeah, I mean, you felt Mary Blair throughout the entire hotel. You'll see, especially when you go into the lobby, you have that whimsical lobby mural. They did a really great job of blending. There's Mary Blair. There's that mid-century modern furniture and colors, like especially in the room. We have the turquoise, the yellow, but then also contemporary design elements. So it's kind of a unique blending where I felt like I was at, like a new upscale hotel, but also with a lot of little nods to Disney yesteryear, which I love. I mean, they kind of really expertly did that. The shower was amazing. It is a walk-in rain shower. Beautiful tile work in there. If you see the closet, even that had some of the Sleeping Beauty detail. I mean, it was really the entire room. It kind of took me like a good first full day of looking around to kind of
Mm.
discover every little element.
Well, I will say that this, just in terms of the vanity space, this looks like a big improvement over the standard Disneyland Hotel bathrooms.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
those are those are a bit cramped if you've got more than one person trying to get ready.
Yes,
This is
I recently stayed at the Disneyland Hotel with a girlfriend, and I can confirm it is hard for two people to get ready.
And
Uh,
I also love that we finally have enough power outlets and USB ports because
oh my
I feel
God.
like I am
Yes,
constantly fighting to find enough outlets for all my devices when I'm staying
yes.
at these older
And
hotels.
this was the first hotel that I've stayed in that had varying USB ports. So it
S-
wasn't just the I get confused, USB-C, USB whatever. It had normal standard American electrical ports, two different USB ports, and there was a lot of them. So
nice.
we're charging Magic Bands, we're charging, my Kindle,
Mhm.
my phone, my laptop, and with family, especially if this room fits 4 people, there should be enough ports and outlets for everyone to charge their devices. I also have to give a shout out to the thermometer. It was a true 65 degrees. Uh,
Oh,
yes,
geez.
yeah, you could bring it down to 65, and it was really 65. I actually like iced myself out and woke myself in the night.
I was gonna say I think I would get hypothermia if I slept in a room that was
But
65 degrees.
I'm in hotels a lot, and a lot of the time you can only bring it down to 68, and I swear that 68 is never a true 68. It's more like a
It
72. And after I'm theme parking all day, especially when it's hot, I just need to be cold. And a lot of these dated hotels, the rooms just don't ever
we're-
get cold.
Here
So
here in Orlando, we are finally getting a few days of fall. Woke up this morning, it was 67 degrees, and they're like, "Do we need to put the heat
yes.
on? Do I need a sweater?" Yeah.
Yes, you're gonna need a sweater if you ever share a hotel room with me because I make it very cold, and this was like the coldest hotel room I've ever stayed in. I loved it. It's just such a great, just all the space is really great. I'm excited for you to see it next week.
Yes, I'm really excited to check it out. And I am hoping that maybe I can sneak into the hotel pool bar. I understand that was not quite ready for you.
Right.
But
I
the
haven't
pool
seen if
does
it's
look
open yet.
gorgeous.
Yeah. The pool is great. Their mid-century modern design extends to that as well. There is a lot of lounge seating, which I'm excited for. If you have stayed at the Disneyland Hotel and been to the regular pool and the monorail pool, there's not a ton of room, because those towers and Trader Sam's kind of enclose it into a small area, and you got to kind of fight for seats or hope it's just not a
Sure.
busy day. This is going to add a lot of seating, and so everyone at the hotel can use it, not just the villa guests.
That's really good news
Mhm.
because I was afraid that this was going to be kind of like, how you have at the Contemporary, the DVC Tower, you have
Yes.
places where you can't
Mhm.
go if you don't have a DVC card, and I was afraid that this was going to be restricted like that. So
Yes, and there's also a brand new state-of-the-art gym in the villas that anyone can also use the amenities, and those are kind of all off the first floor lobby, which is also where the bar is going to be. When I was there, it was fully behind a wall, so I couldn't even really see anything. But I do know that some of the Trader Sam's guys are working on the bar program for that, so I
all right.
hope it's open by the time we get to go there,
Yes.
because I'm curious to see what the cocktails will be.
All right. Well, I will report back
Yes.
after I'm there next weekend, and hopefully I will be able to check it out. If you want to check out Carly's article, it is at attractionsmagazine.com. We've got video of the opening ceremonies. We've got tour of the villas.
Yes. Watch the Grand Villa one because it is the coolest room ever.
Yeah, and that watching that video is the closest I will ever get to that room. But it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. Hey, if you can afford it, go for it, and invite us to come along.
Please, yes.
And if you want to plan a vacation, like you said, it is not just DVC members. There are rooms available for purchase or rent for the general public, and MEI and Mouse Fan Travel can help you plan that.
You're going to want to use them because I tried. It's very limited stock for non-DVC, and I tried going on the website to look up some prices, and there are a lot of them are sold out. So you're going to want to go through a travel agent for sure.
Yep. Well, before we wrap this up, we're going to take a look back at some of comments we got. Cindy Bingham checking in to say good afternoon to everyone.
You're feeling better.
Yes, great to see you, Cindy. And Random Vids and Games just saying hey. Michael Bingham chiming in on Legoland. He spent all those years growing up in San Diego but never visited. Excited what's coming to the park. Yes, I'm excited to find out what is coming there. And Michael also commented that the villas at Disneyland Hotel look amazing. I hope you get to see it in March. And that you get to go back to your home away from home, especially Goofy's Kitchen.
PB&J pizza.
Enjoy. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us, and thank you to our sponsors, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. We want to remind everyone, please give us a rating and a review wherever you listen to us, whether that's Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And be sure to follow us at attractionsmagazine.com and search for Attractions Magazine on whatever social media platform you are using this week. Carly, where can folks find you on the socials?
Yes, I'm on Instagram at Adventures by Carly and on Twitter X at Carly Caramano.
I am on all the platforms at Kuberski, and you can find my books, the new 2024 editions, at theunofficialguides.com.
Yes.
And until next week, we hope that you folks stay safe, try something new, but most importantly, have fun, and we will see you next time. Bye.